The Health Report at BBC News. Organisers at the Montreal World Health Organization conference have stated that their goal for the conference is to create a charter for refugee health.
The big story of the day was the Turkish decision to create a buffer zone in Syria. For more, we go to our BBC correspondent, Kelly Q.
Hi, this is Kelly Q from BBC News. I'm just following up the story, the breaking news about Syrian government and Turkey government.
While we respect the sovereignty of the nation of Syria, we want to defend the interests of our own countries, and we are deploying troops there as well in order to protect them and do the best we can for the hardships that's occurring in Syria right now.
They feel like they're being forced out of the country. I mean, there's like troops everywhere, like beating on them, like forcing them out of Turkey to Syria, and like they're not very happy. And
you have to consider that over the past year we have considered them as guests. We wish to provide the same amount of protection, however, in Syrian land.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is Kelly reporting for BBC News with a government official from Turkey. Thank you.
Now let's hear a report from BBC News.
Hi, this is Kelly from BBC News. I've been doing an investigation on the GlaxoSmithKline's initiative about water sanitation.
I think the idea of pharmaceutical companies, the concept that's actually perceived by the member states is a very negative one.
In terms of GSK, I have a very negative vibe from them in terms that they're pushing their way through the community with their specific ideologies.
We have a certain budget that's allocated towards charity work. We need to make sure that our money is well invested. The reason as to why I have actually been interrupting and being very dominating in a lot of these conversations is because I do believe that sanitation needs to be addressed.
There are many that question the intention of GSK in pursuing the initiative.
Sanitation is a short-term issue that GSK is using to draw attention away from less profitable issues in the long term.
Sanitation is a huge issue in refugee camps.
Russia disagrees with GSK's stand that sanitation is sanitation is more important than access to medicines when addressing a lot of problems that these refugee-ridden countries are facing. We actually think that access to medicine is one of the prime issues that these countries are facing when they're providing for the refugees.
Countries have expressed skepticism towards the motivations of pharmaceutical companies. Of course, there are many, especially those in the Europe regional bloc, who seem especially inclined towards policies designed by GSK. From BBC, I'm Kelly Q.
And now with the BBC.
Hi, this is Kelly from BBC News. The different resolutions have been made, draft resolutions have been made among nations, and different nations seem to have different things to worry about. However, there is a common theme amongst the different nations, such as the water sanitation program.
Oxfam's mandate is obviously providing a basic standard of humanitarian relief to all peoples. So there are a lot of good draft resolutions that are coming up. We obviously support anything that to do with women and women's and maternal health, as well as we're a strong advocate of the water sanitation programs.
Right now at the moment I'm very heavily supporting the IHF, so International Health Fund, that members of the European bloc are currently working on, especially Russia and Jordan, for example.
From your standpoint, what is the most important thing about the Health Impact Fund?
I think one of the most important things to consider is how the money is going to be first put into the fund and how the money is going to be spent. Is it going to be more long-term or more short-term?
You guys, I've noticed in some other blogs that have been talking about the Health Impact Fund and the water sanitation program. Have you guys touched up on those two topics?
Yeah, specifically the water sanitation program, a bunch of our groups have been talking about communicable diseases, and
we've been talking about sanitation aspects of specifically Latin America. Latin America, obviously, in the developing nations are struggling severely.
How are you guys planning to get funding for all those interventions?
Well, we have some NGOs that have signed on with us. We have support from some of the pharmaceutical companies.
How do you guys plan to integrate all the countries together?
As an NGO, I feel like we have a really relevant third-party experience, and we can play sort of a mediator between differing groups.
This is Kelly from BBC News. After 2 days of heated debate, we're finally able to see some countries come to consensus in regards to some of these issues. For example, Iran and Israel.
I understand there's so much tension between us, but my point is, now we're supporting the same cause. We should really be peaceful.
I will not during the...
On the other hand, some pharmaceutical companies are flaming up the field and turning countries against each other.
Apparently with maternal health, Kenya's still supporting that, but I would, because I've given you my seal of approval, could you please go against everything that Kenya says?
Commit to that, because I have my morals. I have to stick to those.
Well, no, obviously if they breach...
We will walk with tiptoes around.
I'm saying...
Just to recap some of the highlights.
And to me, what's really important, and to refugee health, what's really important is sanitation.
All I want to say about GSK is I feel like that they're imposing their will in this conference and they're exerting undue power.
Arabia wholeheartedly disagrees with the existence of Al Jazeera News and immediately demands that it be disbanded and defunded by the state of Qatar.
In the midst of all this heated debate, I was able to put some delegates aside to see if they're content with the resolution.
Without even saying anything, I feel like the entire nation, the entire world has really come together.
Russia's main goal for this conference was improving access to medicine and healthcare for refugees, and I think our resolution is working on just that.
The Women's and Child Health resolution was something that Merck is very heavily involved with, and is very pushing for that resolution, and we're very supportive of that as it is in line with our company policies, and we're really excited to be a part of that resolution, as well as the access to barriers in refugee health, and we'll be supporting that one as well.
But I have one concern. The issue of Syria was not mentioned. We have that crisis at hand, and we didn't manage to come up with a resolution or anything to support those refugees.
Yes, I'm actually very happy with a lot of the draft resolutions that are coming out. As I mentioned earlier in an interview, humanitarian relief is a big part of Oxfam's goals.
Kelly from BBC News.
This was the BBC Health News Report.
Brought to you by MonWHO Media.